Hello. Today we're going to be learning Likkutei Torah by Midbar Daf Lamed Hey. We are finishing the mimer that begins Gula, which was begun on Daf Lamed Gimel, and we're now going to be learning the last three ayahs of that mimer. So the mimer so far has been analyzing the idea of love of the Eibishter, Torah mitzvahs, through the lens of this pasuk, which is from Torah for Parshas Behaaloscha, as well as the Parshas of Kriyat. So the mimer picks up by talking about what it takes to have the love that we feel for the Eibishter become permanently implanted in our hearts. And he's going to use, Alter is going to use the pasuk from the Haftarah to discuss how we do that and how we make the Ubechol Nafshecha a meaningful and permanent part of our lives. So the pasuk in Zechariah of this Haftarah reads, I saw that there was a menorah that was entirely of gold, the gula raша, with a oil bowl on its top. And there were 7 cups on top and 7 tubes, that connected the lamps to that which that connected from the menorah to that which was on top of it. Zitim, Alya, and there were 2 olive trees, one to the right of the bowl and one to the left of the bowl. Now, where we are analyzing the pasuk is from the Zitim, Alya, these 2 olives, and he says that the idea of there being the idea of an olive is that that olives are full of oil, but the oil will only come out if there is crushing in an olive press. And so too, a Jew is the oil will only come out through crushing, and this crushing is based on the pasuk that the Gemara says that the only way that we can daven is if we have a bowed head, which means that we have we humble ourselves. So the reish that the Alter was going to explain is al derech the idea of Yisrael, which is li reish, and the idea of bowing the head has to do with the fact that when a yid does averos, when a yid separates from Hashem, he's bowing the head that was supposed to be li reish, was supposed to be Yisrael. He's bringing that head downwards, and because our averos become a burden upon us that literally weighs us down, that weighs our head down. And this not only has an impact on our lives, but it also has an impact on our divine mission. And so it's also a koved reish of the Shechina, which the Shechina is the source of Neshamas Yisrael, and the meditation of koved reish is a dual meditation of the fact that my separation from God has led to my own downfall, but that it's also led to the downfall of the divine mission of my own divine purpose. Now, the Alter Rebbe cites a fascinating medrash based on the pasuk that says that the weight of a stone is a burden. The stone is heavy, and the sand is a burden. And the anger of a fool is heavier than both of them. So now, because in reality, there's no such thing as there being a weighing down or a lowering, when it comes to the Eibishter, because all the worlds were made by God without any toil, without any effort, right? And the only thing that appears or gives the appearance of there being a lowering is the anger of fools, which is our averos. And so our averos give the appearance of there being a lowering of the divine purpose, and this and this is the humility that we experience, because when we are in this gלות, what is happening is that the Alokot is being hidden and that the universe appears to be its own independent entity, and the goal is that we reflect upon this and that we make ourselves feel this, and this brings us down. This makes us this reflection that that Elokos has become so low as to make it appear as though it's its own independent entity is a very sobering reflection. Now, this is the reason why the Chachamim instituted the Birchas HaShachar, and within Birchas HaShachar, the mentions of Rachamim, the Avinu of Rachamim and Rachamecha Harabim Rachim Aleinu. That the reason we are asking for divine mercy is because we're going to be bringing ourselves down, and we're going to be recollecting our physical position, our material position. That in order to come to a legitimate Nafta B'chol Nashacha, which is a result of Hispaners of Echad, this requires us to begin with our self-reflection. And if we didn't do that, if we missed out on that, then we would not be able to bring the Ve'ahavta to the fore in a truly meaningful way. Now, how is it that we successfully bring Rachamim? We have to begin with Hamelach HaMareim Levada. We have to begin by calling the Eibishter King. When we call the Eibishter King, we are referencing Malchus. We're referencing his capacity for Malchus, which is Malchus Kol. And the reflection that his kingship is only a glimmer of him, is only a spark, but that he himself is in no way bound by creation, and he himself is essentially above creation. He's not subject to the limits of time and space, and he is above all definition. That he himself is ein arech lecha, right? That he himself is Seviv Ka'am, and that he surrounds all the worlds, and that from the Eibishter's perspective, there is no darkness, there is no concealment. That and from his perspective is kashecha ka'ira. And when we mention that allows us to then request divine mercy. Rachamecha Harabim. I'm requesting the mercy that what I perceive as being a impairment on my connection to the Eibishter, Gashmias. I'm asking the Eibishter for Rachamim, allow me to see the world from your perspective, wherein Gashmias is not not a blockage, is not something that makes it that prevents me from being successful. And this request is only possible from the perspective of Seif, right? Because from the perspective of Mamala, I sin. From the perspective of Mamala, my entrenchment in Gashmias genuinely does prevent me from focusing on the Eibishter. But if I say Malchuscha and I say that Eibishter, you are the one that really that controls this, now I can ask B'rachamecha Harabim Rachim Aleinu Avinu Av Rachaman, provide me with this same sense of security that you have, where the Gashmias is not an impediment. And this is akin to the idea of the V'yaminai Techavkeni, that you hug me with your right arm. That I'm asking that I be surrounded in this hug of the Eibishter's of being able to appreciate his perspective, right? Wherein I'm able to understand how God exists at every level, even down to this physical world, which to me seems so real and so vital, but that I can appreciate that it's only a glimmer, it's only a ziv ha'ara, and that's what I'm requesting with the bracha ha'ara. And when we say in the second bracha, we also say Avinu Av Rachman, we say Lo Neves Lo Levahed. What is this reference to busha? What is it to embarrassment? So the Alter Rebbe says like this: when a person does something foolish, and then afterwards they suddenly realize that somebody is watching them, so they feel tremendous embarrassment. And even if they were to do this thing even though they would if they were to have done this thing privately, they wouldn't be embarrassed. Since they've done this thing in public and others have seen them, we feel embarrassment. And so too it is in our position, that we do find ourselves in this physical world, which does hide the presence of God, so to speak, to the point that we can feel as though we are alone, that we can feel as though we are our own entity. But when Mashiach comes, and we're going to be, and God is going to be revealed, and the Hester Panim that defines our reality now is going to go away. At that point, there's going to be a tremendous embarrassment of the fact that I realized that I never really was alone. And this is what we're asking of the Ibishter, that don't allow me to feel that embarrassment, right? Allow me to rise above this now. Allow me in this avodas kriyashma that I'm doing right now, allow me to rise above my current personal state, and allow me so that when Mashiach comes, I don't experience this embarrassment. And now in the Sagrayim, in the parentheses at the bottom of this first ayat, the Alter Rebbe discusses the reason why Rachamim specifically is needed. He says that Rachamim is the idea of Shemen HaTayv, because the Yud Gimel Rachamim have two perspectives to them. They have the Pnimius and they have the Chitzonius. That the Chitzonius of Yud Gimel Rachamim are the Yud Gimel Tikkunei Dikna, which is the expressive component of Keser, whereas the Pnimius of Yud Gimel Rachamim are this Shemen Tayv, which is and so what we're saying is that I'm trying to be Nesayer Rachamim, right? The Rachamim that I'm trying to be Nesayer is the Pnimius, the inner perspective of the Yud Gimel Midas Rachamim, and the fact that it says, the fact that we have explained that the Rachamim is required because I'm undergoing my crushing and undergoing my bitush, my embarrassment, so to speak, is coming back to the analogy of the olives. That the olives, in order to produce their oil, they need to be crushed. And so what is happening when a Jew tries to find that mariros is that we are trying to bring out the rachamim, we're trying to bring out the oil that can be produced. We're trying to bring out the pnimius of Yud Gimel Rachamim, and that requires our crushing. And this is a crushing that happens based specifically on our own our reflection of our own indulgence in materialism, which has led to our distance from God, and this inspires in us a tremendous feeling of pain, a tremendous feeling of bitterness. Now, this crushing that we've talked about is based on the pasuk. That the pasuk in Zechariah mentioned that there was olives, but the pasuk in Zechariah mentions two olives. There's the olives to the right of the bowl, and there are the olives to the left. So the paradigm of right and left is, of course, Ava and Yira, of bringing close with Ahava, with bringing close with the right side, and pushing away with Yira. Because, says the Alter Rebbe, that there's two components of this olive Aveda. There's the one side, which is that I'm using my bittul, I'm using my hafna in order to run towards God, which is the Vahavta B'chol Vavecha, which is Ratzei, and then there's the second olive, which is the Yira, and that is the olive of Shuv. And this is the Aveda, this is the Aveda of the next words, which is V'dibarta Bam. That we said before that what we say in Krishma says Varma Ela Sharanechim Etzabacha, and the Anechi here is specific. It's talking about Anechi Mamish, which is what we're saying is that in order that my words of Torah be in a state of bittul, and the Devarai or something Beficha, and I'm saying Devarai, that these are actually my words, which is that I want there to be a connection to the Eibusher, my thought to his thought, and my speech to his thought to his speech. This is the avodah of V'dibarta Bam. And it's explained in Medrash, going back to this pasuk, the וגולה al ראשה, that the bowls that a bowl that he saw is melashon gula. Right? That from this kובד ראשה, from this bittul that we do before davening, we bring gula al ראשה, which is the preparation, the smichas gula l'tefillah. So I'm using Kriya Shema. I'm using these two phases of these two zaysim of Kriya Shema to bring myself to the state of Gula that allows me to successfully daven the Shema Nesrei. And the added aleph is what converts Gula Gula from Galus to Gula, which is al derech the Maimer Chazal, which says that we learn out that you have to say 100 brachas from the word ma and which is mem hey, but the Gemara says al tikra ma ela mea, right? Read it as 100, which is explained off Kabbalah as drawing down seviv, which is the aleph. Right? An aleph can be converted to be pella, right? So which is bringing pella, bringing the r which is higher than the world, which is not naturally obvious to the world, and we're trying to bring that into Malchus. We're trying to bring that into a revealed state, and this is done through the Me'ah bracha. So it's done through the added aleph. That the added aleph brings seviv into the world, and al derech zeh, the same thing happens with the gula l'geula. That just like Yetzias Mitzrayim, through the gilui of Melech Malchei Hamlachim that caused the Yetzias Mitzrayim, so too we have the same service that happens in ourselves, in our avodah, that we are bringing our innermost perspective, our most realistic perspective, our connection to the Eibishter, which is currently in a state of galus, in a state of being lost in Taivas Gashmi and in the Nefesh Bahamas, and I'm lifting it out through this gilui from Gula to Gula. And this is the avodah of these two stages of Krishna. Now, all of this though is the first parsha of Krishna, because the first parsha of Krishna is all about Kabbalah soul. It's that's Kabbalah's all Malchus Shemayim, in order that I'm a Kabbal all mitzvahs. That the all mitzvahs is the yoke that a man takes upon himself to fulfill the mitzvahs of the Eibishter. That the mitzvahs of the Eibishter are his ratzon. The mitzvahs of the Eibishter are his, and because they are his ratzon, they are able to draw down tainuk. But the true reason that I have to do them is not mitzad the tainuk. It's not mitzad the gratification that I want to give to God, but that I do them because they are Gzeres HaMelech. Now, in Kabbalah Soul, there are two levels. There's both in Kabbalah Soul Malchus Shemayim, and there's two levels in Kabbalah Soul Mitzvahs. And this is played out in our pasuk when it says that there was Shiva Mutzakes, and the Shiva, the two times Shiva with it, when talking about the 7 tubes, is a reference to these two avodas. The Mutzak Echa, the first avodah is an avodah of oil that comes from the two olive branches. A few psukim later, the Navi describes that there's the oil that comes from 2 olive branches, and then he says that there's the hamarikim aleim hazahav. There's the oil that he refers to as zahav. It's a golden oil. So in the second oil, the second shemen is not the avodah of mariras that we said before, of bitterness. But it's an avodah of simcha shel mitzvah, because gold is always associated with simcha v'chedva, and this is the second. This is the second step after the kabbalas all of the first parsha of Kriyashma, the Behaaloscha. There's now the second step, which is the simcha shel mitzvah, and that happened during the parsha of Vahaya. And this is why in the second parsha it doesn't say b'chol me'adecha, because the first parsha is mimata l'mayla, and therefore requires the b'chol me'adecha. But the second parsha is all about the gilui m'mayla l'mata of this tainug and this simcha. It's a simcha that is believable, and this is explained through the pasuk in Mishlei HaChachma Techaya v'aleha, that the Torah is chachma and the Torah is bittul. It's the first parsha of Kriyashma. It's all about the bittul. It's all about the right, and this is the Dibarta Bam. But the Dibarta Bam brings us to a revelation of simcha and tainug that occurs during the second parsha, and this is the simcha shel mitzvah. In other words, even though mitzvahs have their source higher than Torah, which is why in the pasuk they're called Ba'aleha, the owner, the possessor of wisdom. Nevertheless, down here, the Torah is what gives life. Techaya gives life to the mitzvahs, because that the simcha shel mitzvah and the revelation of this timing of this pleasure that the mitzvah causes is revealed to us, is caused by Torah, and this establishes this dual relationship between the first and the second parsha of Kriyashma. Now we end off the mimer with quite a long parentheses, which explains what exactly the process is of this techaya, of this giving life. So it says the first version is that you can explain techaya as like the idea of lahaches behen nefesh kol chai, that it provides that chachma, it enlivens the mitzvahs and makes them makes the mitzvahs which are their possessor, gives them this life. That the Gemara in Brachos implies that the parsha of Hayim Shemaya Tishmu is talking about somebody who has not yet done the will of the Abishur, and therefore is lacking the b'chol me'adecha. But what we're saying is that the b'chol me'adecha in the first parsha of Kriyashma is the kabbalas all, which then which brings down this advantage of into the mitzvahs. Into the mitzvahs that are happening in the second parsha, which makes it the Eisen Rishayna Shalmakam, and this is the idea of the Chachma bringing out bringing out the advantage of the B'chol Me'adecha, and this is the Gula Raisha, the bowl on the head, which is again that the Kabbalah's all is infusing the mitzvahs with this Adam, meaning that this is the relationship between the Torah and the mitzvahs, where the Torah is providing life to the mitzvahs. And the explanation for this is that in mitzvahs there are two perspectives. There are mitzvahs as they are in our makif. That in one sense mitzvahs are called levushim. They're called something that surrounds. And there's the another perspective in which mitzvahs have the job of bringing something b'pnimius, because the mitzvahs draw into mamalik alaman, which mamalik alaman is a recognition that there is a makam, there's a recognition of materialism, of a material reality, and the mitzvahs reveal their pnimius. They reveal the fact that creation has an inner purpose and an inner value, and this is the and this is the deeper function of mitzvahs. This is the life of mitzvahs. And this comes back to the pasuk that the Chachma gives life to the mitzvahs. And with this we can understand a very interesting medrash. The medrash says that historically the Nevi'im did not like gold, that gold was considered bad, and then came Zechariah, and Zechariah in our Haftarah says Mener Zav Kula, that the gold is holy. And then we have this second medrash, a medrash that says that the Zoysa Truma Zahav, this is Babel. So I asked Alter Rebbe, how is it that Babel, which is called how is the Babel, which is Keser of Klippa, can be called gold? That Babel refers to Nebuchadnezzar, who destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. And what's the connection between gold and Truma? And the answer is how the Medrash ends. The Medrash ends off with the words Yafa Rayasi, that behold, you are fair. And this is so this can be explained with this with a mashal, that it's like a child that so long as he saw his father, he was misbehaving, and so the child was sent away, and by being sent away, he cries out to Hashem, and he cries out to the father, and this allows him to comprehend and appreciate his love for his father. And so the Medrash explains that when we are in Galos, this allows us to appreciate and allows us to get a deeper perception and deeper appreciation of our love and for the Eibishter. And this comes back to this Meneres Zahav, that the Meneres Zahav only happens through Galos. That when we are in Galos, we begin to have the ability to appreciate our connection to God, and this happens through the mitzvahs and through the Torah. That the Torah giving the mitzvahs this added meaning, and what the mitzvahs do in that context is they allow us to fully appreciate and fully comprehend the value of why we're here, and the fact that and to be able to find the Eibishter within creation.